Bryan fans. Welcome to this Monday night sports show. I'm Jessica Mendoza.
And I'm Brian Buck. This was a huge travel weekend for CSU that included conference games for volleyball and soccer. Let's break down the action.
Last Thursday, the CSU men's basketball team held their first practice of the season under new head coach Niko Medved. Medved was hired in April of last year following the turbulent leave and subsequent removal of former head coach Larry Eustace.
Yeah, Jessica, after Eustace faced accusations of creating a culture of fear in the men's basketball program, hiring Niko Medved has only helped create new momentum for the CSU basketball program. Medved was formerly the head coach at Drake and Furman, along with serving as a CSU assistant coach under Tim Miles from 2007 to 2013. In his 5 seasons as a head coach, Niko Medved has a record of 79 and 87, improving the record of his programs every year and being awarded the 2017 Southern Conference Coach of the Year. Medved is not the only new face for the program. There are 6 new faces that will take the court for the Rams this season. 3 of them are eligible transfers: Chris Martin, Hiron Edwards, and Alonzo Tyson, as well as incoming freshmen Adam Thistlewood, Kendall Moore, and Jack Showman. Now, they lost Prentice Nixon, their point guard. That was a big loss for them. But they kept Nico Carvacho, They got the same first name. It's probably tough out there on the practice court for him.
Definitely.
But, you know, there's a lot of turnover in this basketball team. There's a lot of questions. But I don't think anybody questions whether or not it's a positive environment and this team is going to show signs of improvement from last year.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see from that video, Medved is so interactive with the team. You can tell he's more positive. And the fact that he lets media into his practices proves that he's got nothing to hide. He's there to support his players and be there for them.
Yeah, and a lot of his players have said very similar things. They love the environment. They love the atmosphere. They're really excited to play for this team. A lot of people have commented, too, about how they see the team out and about working out together. Someone I know commented on how they saw the team running around the IM fields a lot this summer, getting in shape. Niko Medved's ready to run with these guys, and he was running with them, coaching with them, talking to them. Of course, not basketball coaching, because that'd be against NCAA rules, but getting them in conditioning shape. And you can see these guys, when they were at practice on Thursday, on Friday, just the attitude you see from them, they're excited, they're feeling positive, they're ready to go.
Absolutely. I think it's pretty obvious that fans, students, everyone in CSU and Fort Collins is excited to see what Medved has to do with the team this year.
Definitely. Well, the Rams' first game is an exhibition on November 3rd against CSU Pueblo.
The CSU men's hockey team officially began their season this weekend. The first puck dropped late Thursday night at the Eudora Pool and Ice Center in Fort Collins. Metro State traveled up north to take on the Rams, but left with disappointing results. Freshman Sam Coate was the first Ram to score, followed by Johnny Tower to give CSU a 2-0 lead. But the first period was far from over as MSU followed up by scoring 2 points to tie the Rams, the first being on a power play. Less than 2 minutes into the second period, Austin Ansay scored again for CSU, thanks to an assist from Corey Taylor. Metro was given a penalty shot not long after that goal, but goalie Joe Morgan made a big save for CSU. Kyle Riley added the 4th goal for the Rams, giving them another 2-point lead over the Roadrunners, just before the game started to get too physical for the referee's liking. 2 MSU players and 1 from CSU were ejected from the game after multiple fights broke out on the ice. The tension still continued after the ejections, but CSU was still able to add 2 more goals, one more by Austin Ansay and the last by Sam Thrutchley. The final score of the Rams' first game was 6-3.
Next night, the Rams took on the Minot State Beavers. Goalie Joe Morgan started the game with a big save for CSU, as the first period was physical with 3 penalties and 16 shots, but none of them found the net. Minot jumped ahead with 2 goals off the sticks of Joel Swedlow and Connor Navro on 13 shots from the Beavers in the second period, capitalizing on 5 Ram penalties. In the third period, CSU turned a corner behind a big goal from Corey Taylor that was followed by another big save by Morgan. With under 2 minutes left in the game, a Rams power play and CSU's Torin Foundos tied up the game with a big goal. Overtime was uneventful for everyone, with only 5 total shots and no penalties, and a shootout was set to decide the game. After 7 saves back and forth, Rams defenseman Samuel Coate finished off the Beavers with the only score of the shootout and a final score of Rams 3, Beavers 2.
CSU went into their third and final game of the weekend looking to stay undefeated. The team went down to Denver to play Metro State again, this time in enemy territory. The Rams began with another scoreless first period, but in the first 13 seconds of the second period, CSU Kyle Nelson puts the Rams on the board in the second period with a goal. Two Roadrunners, Dylan Van Leeuwen and Nick Vrems, responded by scoring their first goals ever for MSU, which gave CSU their first loss of the season, 2-1. The hockey team is now 2-1 after their debut weekend.
After a rough start to the 2018 season that found the Rams football team 1-4 and questions about head coach Mike Bobo, the Rams took a much-needed bye week. Coach Bobo stressed over the past week that the team needs to restart and that every position was up for grabs in practice. Sophomore offensive line Keith Williams was one of those guys who took a position. Some might remember him from Netflix's Last Chance U. Williams played for Independence Community College during Season 3 of the show. And the Rams will hope to get back on the right track this week as they travel to San Jose, a team that is 0-4 on the season.
The volleyball team continued conference play this week in California, where they took on San Diego State. The first match was pretty back and forth until midway through when the Aztecs went on a hefty 10-1 run. Although the Rams tried to catch back up, it wasn't enough, and they dropped the set 20-25. CSU took the next three sets 25-19, 26-24, and 25-22. The 3-1 win was CSU's sixth consecutive win in San Diego. Despite the victory, the team's serving was not what you'd expect. The girls gave up 18 free points to the Aztecs due to missed serves. Main target and outside hitter for the Rams, Brianna Runnels, made her season-high hitting percentage that night, getting close to a 38% for her 17 kills. CSU was on a hot Mountain West win streak going into their game against Fresno State, a team they swept last season 3-0. But Fresno came out looking aggressive at the net right away with another poor service performance and inability to hit as well as usual. The Bulldogs took the lead with a 25-17 first set score. The following set was the only one the Rams were able to take. Their hitting percentage improved from flat 0 to about 35% in the second, and they won 25-21. The Rams would continue into the third and fourth sets without recording one single block against the Bulldogs. They dropped both sets 18-25 and 24-26. Fresno outside hitters Taylor Slover and Audrey Folk each tallied 12 kills against CSU. Head coach Tom Hilbert believes his team's predictability and Fresno's defensive plan was what beat his team in their first conference loss this season. The team will be traveling to Wyoming to play the Cowgirls in the Border War tomorrow at 6:30 in the evening. Tune into the CTV Sports Twitter page for live updates on the game. All right, Rams, we're going to take a quick break.
But don't go anywhere, because when we return, Litos Castro will give you an update on what's to come this week in CSU sports. And later in the show, we will update you on the soccer and cross-country teams.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Hello, Bryan fans, and welcome to Castro's Cut. I'm Litos Castro, here to give you the rundown of what's to come up in CSU sports this week. So, without further ado, let's get rolling on with it. First, we're going to take a look at your swim and dive team and your tennis team. Swim and dive team is going to have their first meet of the year on Friday. They were going to be competing in the Intermountain Shootout in Grand Junction. There, they're going to be facing Colorado Mesa and BYU. Should be an exciting chance to see what the swim and dive team has to offer for the season. And then the tennis team, they're going to be hosting the John Messick Invitational at the CSU Tennis Complex. This tournament is going to be a multiple-day event starting on Friday and finishing up on Sunday for you. We'll keep an eye on both of those. Next, we're going to be rolling on over to the volleyball court. CSU is going to be traveling tomorrow to face Mountain West opponent Wyoming. That game is going to begin at 6:30 in the evening. Then on Friday, they're heading back home to Moby Arena to face Air Force. That's going to be at 7 in the evening on Friday. Next, we're going to take a look at your soccer team. They are coming back home as well. First, they're going to take on Air Force as well. That game is going to be on Friday at 4 in the afternoon. Then on Sunday, they're going to stay at home to take on Colorado College. That game is going to be at noon. And then we're heading back to the football field this week. Football is back from their bye week. They're going to be traveling to face San Jose State on Saturday. That game is going to be at 7 in the evening for you. We'll keep you posted on that one. And then finally, we slide over into the hockey rink. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the hockey team's going to have all games. First on Thursday, they're going to be facing Oklahoma University. That game's going to be at 8:30 in the evening. Then they're going to start a 2-day series against the University of Central Oklahoma on Friday and Saturday. First game's going to be at 8 in the evening, and then on Saturday at 7:45 in the evening. And while we're on the subject of hockey, now we're going to take a look at your CSU Play of the Week. First, we're here taking a look at Sam Coate. He was the hero of this game against Minot State. CSU came back from a 2-goal deficit and took it into shootouts, and Sam Coate coming through with the only shootout goal to give the CSU Rams the win. I have nothing else to say but well done to him. It was a great shot, great game from the Rams, and you got to give it to him. But that's all I have for you in the Castro's Cup. But thanks for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. When we return, Jessica will be hosting the first live Triple J PickeEm Challenge. Don't go anywhere, Rams.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Hello, Ram fans, and welcome back. We have now moved the Triple J PickeEm Challenge to Monday nights, and tonight is the first PickeEm Challenge. I am joined by Tuesday Sports anchor Jayson Ortiz and Thursday Sports anchor Jared Stratton to do our picks live. So let's start with the CSU versus San Jose State game.
So yeah, CSU versus San Jose State. Obviously, neither are ranked. We're going into Mountain West play. CSU is 1-4, 0-1 conference. SJSU is also 0-1 conference. My pick is CSU. I think we have a better offense. CSU has a better offense than San Jose State's defense, and we don't know who the quarterback is, but figure it out.
Yeah, and San Jose State's been struggling all year, 0 wins on the year. I'm going to have to take CSU for this game as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be rough for them. I picked CSU just because they're coming off a bye week. I'm really hoping that they really put in some hard work over that bye week and hoping to see a lot of improvement for this next game.
Yeah, so up next we have Arizona State and number 21 CU at Folsom Field. ASU has 56.4 winning percentage over the Buffs for this weekend.
So for this game, I picked CU, and I have one word for you there. Or I guess it's two. It would be LaVisca Chenault. He's an amazing receiver. He's averaging 145 receiving yards per game, and him and Steven Montez, the quarterback for CU, are making really good connections that we've seen in every game so far.
I'm going to go a little against a mainstream pick right now. I'm going to go actually for ASU. They just came off a huge win against Oregon State, and even if I did believe in CU, I still wouldn't vote for them. So ASU is going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, ASU had a big win against Michigan State earlier in the year, but since then they have lost 2 in a row. CU, their running back, transfer from Virginia Tech, Javon McMillan, he's been lights out. He's averaging 7.2 yards per carry, and that's why I picked CU this week.
All right, and moving on, we have number 6 Notre Dame heading to Virginia Tech to take on the number 24 ranked Hokies. Now for this one, it was a pretty easy one, Notre Dame for me. Notre Dame is undefeated. They have been winning by wide margins all year round, so it looks like they're going to come away with this win as well.
I picked Notre Dame as well. They're on a 5-game win streak, and they're averaging more than 32 points a game. So I don't know. I just felt like the higher seed, there's going to be just more hype around them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't go against the fact that they just knocked off Stanford, and it was not even a close game. But Notre Dame, they're 2-0 since changing quarterbacks. But Virginia Tech is 1-0 since having to change quarterbacks due to an injury. But I still took Notre Dame in this game as well.
All right, well, next we have number 5 LSU taking on a number 22 Florida. What did you guys pick?
For this one, I chose LSU. They're also undefeated. The only thing I was a little hesitant on is that it's still in the swamp. It's in Florida. That's going to be a hard game to win, but I think they're not going to be able to be stopped.
Yeah, I took LSU as well. They're a field goal favorite going into this game. However, Nick Brissett, the running back for LSU, he's going to be up for a Heisman this year. Joe Burrow, he was SEC Player of the Week, so I don't think the Florida Gators defense can stop him.
Well, I also picked LSU. As you guys said, they're 5-0, and their aggressive defense was really what sold it for me. They have 45 points off turnovers so far this season, so I think their defense really is going to win the game for them.
Yeah, so finally we have the College Game Day Red River Rivalry with number 19 Texas taking on number 7 Oklahoma at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. So in this game, it's big-time rivalry. I'm going with Oklahoma. We got Murray at quarterback. He was having lunch with his mom, so he was late to practice last week. So they didn't start him in the first quarter. But I feel he's going to start against Texas, so I'm taking Oklahoma.
Interesting. Interesting story that you added there. I went ahead and picked Texas. It's hard to pick against Oklahoma, but they're 4-1, Texas is, and they haven't allowed more than 21 points since their first game loss against Maryland. So another strong defensive team. I'm hoping to see Texas beat Oklahoma this weekend.
Yeah, like Jayson said, Kyler Murray, even though he's gone for one quarter last game, I think having a Heisman watch list guy on your team is going to make a big difference. Oklahoma is my pick for that game.
Yeah, I clearly tried to avoid that point there. All right, Ram fans, that is all we have for you right now, but don't go anywhere because when we return, Bryan and I will update you on what's on the CSU freshmen who finished top 20 in the nation in this weekend's Spartan World Championship.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
You are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Meanbeat,
DJ Nightshade, DJ Wildcard. Music to me is one of the best creative outlets that I can think of.
An escape from the real world. Music to me is an expression of love.
To go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
The nationally ranked CSU men's and women's cross country team made their way to the Nutty Comb Invitational last week and held their own against top-tier opponents. The men, who ranked 10th nationally, finished 6th overall behind a 9th place performance from Cole Rockhold and 22nd from Eric Hammer. All 5 men's scorers placed in the top 100 in the event. And the women put on a great event as well. Entering the tournament ranked 21st nationally, they outdid Georgetown and Texas, 2 teams right behind them in the national rankings. Bailey Ness was the top ram in the 6K, finishing 73rd, and Allie Kalner, who was 94th, also finished in the top 100 of a field of 227. After a successful trip, the Rams will get the week off before pre-nationals on October 13th.
CSU's women's soccer went to Boise to take on yet another Mountain West competitor, the Boise State Broncos. The team was looking to get their first conference win for the season by starting off the game with a tough defense. A key they knew they would never need, as Boise was sitting 3-0 in the conference. Haley Havlicek and Lexi Swenson helped out goalkeeper Hunter Pfeiffer early in the game, but it seemed impossible to shut down Ramey Shirley, the country's current leading scorer. She gave the Broncos a 2-0 lead before halftime, with 1 goal right over Pfeiffer's head, and another after a steal from a CSU midfielder. Head coach Bill Hempen admitted Shirley is the best they've ever seen. In the second half, Boise's Lily French shot the ball towards the top right of the net, barely beating Pfeiffer. But regardless, it would put the Rams into a 3-point deficit. Despite the Rams' 12 shots on goal, they remained scoreless against the Broncos, which means the team found themselves in a dangerous scoring drought, as they had not scored 1 goal in their last 3 games.
Despite the loss on Friday, yesterday was a great day for the women's soccer team as they put together everything Coach Bill Hempen has been stressing the past few weeks. The Rams were in Logan, Utah, and grabbed their first conference victory of the season over Utah State. The Rams were the more physical of the 2 teams and used it to control tempo, piling up 18 fouls and 2 yellow cards. Scoring in the 38th minute off a Utah State deflection was sophomore Taylor Stenke. The Rams stayed physical and put the game out of reach in the second half with a sharp shot by Kaylee Lordman in the 71st minute. The Rams improved to 4-5-3 on the season and 1-2-1 in conference play. The Rams will look to continue the momentum with 2 home matches this week.
The tennis team continued their season this past weekend in Boulder for the Colorado Invitational, a 3-day competition hosted by CU. Emily Luchsweger won the Ralphie singles draw after beating players from Abilene Christian, San Diego, and finally Wisconsin in straight sets. Luchsweger and Alyssa Grijalva played together in the A draw, winning once against ACU, but later losing to a duo from San Diego 6-4. Stella Cliff had 3 singles victories this weekend. Cliff also combined with Emily Colbo to beat other teams from ACU, USD, and Wisconsin, who they beat 7-5 in the other teams from ACU, USD, and Wisconsin, who they beat 7-5 in the finals. Meaningful victory over CU's Bridget Beck in the semifinals. Beck is a competitor who beat Corwin just last spring.
CSU men's golf played their 3rd team match of the season this weekend in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the results were not as promising as the first 2 matches. The Rams finished in 10th place with a team score of 31 over par, which is 47 strokes behind tournament winner Brigham Young University. A bright spot for the Rams came from 2 Rams, Paratha Korn-Siosri and individual leader Jake Stano. Both hold eagles on the final day of the tournament. The Rams' next tournament will be close to home, the Paintbrush Invitational in Parker, Colorado, early next week.
Over the weekend, CSU freshman and biomedical science major John Penland traveled to North Lake Tahoe, Olympic Valley, California, to participate in the Spartan Race World Championship. Penland got interested in racing on Christmas Day of 2015 when watching the Spartan World Championship with his family. Penland started training 4 years ago before he started high school, where he says, "I had visited West Point that summer and read about its fitness test and figured that maybe I should start preparing for it. At the time, I could do only 7 push-ups and run a 7-minute, 15-second mile. Over time, I became very fit. Penland runs every day and will have ran over 2,500 miles by the end of this year. He hardly ever misses training and lifts about 5 times a week. Penland won the obstacle course race world championship when he was 17. This year, Penland raced behind 2017 Spartan champion Robert Killian and 2015 Spartan champion Cody Moat, where he started in 3rd place right behind the 2 champions. Penland finished top 20 in the race.
That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm in that same boat right now. If I did 7 push-ups and ran a 7:15 mile, I'd be like, woo, I'm in good shape. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But to go where he was, to where he was with that 7 push-ups, 7:15 mile, to where he is now, wow, like, I need to start working out.
Yeah, and that's living proof that it takes a lot of work
Yeah.
to get to where you want to be, and he put in that really hard work.
He did. Well, aside from CSU sports this week, it also has been an exhilarating weekend for the MLB. We had 2 games today, both game 163 to decide the NL Central and the NL West. Now, NL Central, the Brewers were able to take that 3-1 over the Cubs, sending the Cubs to the wild card play-in game tomorrow. But a little bit closer to home, the Rockies took on the Dodgers, and the result was not what a lot of Colorado fans would expect.
It was not good for Colorado fans. The Rockies were down 5-0 for the majority of the game. They didn't score until the top of the 9th. That was thankful to Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story for their 2 home runs in the top of the 9th.
They did show some offensive output and some life there late, which is a good sign. Yeah. This game wasn't an elimination game. It was a game that would have been big to win, but they still have life. They play tomorrow against the Cubs, who just lost to the Brewers. That is an elimination game, and that's going to be a big one. And for me, it's always about pitching matchups in the playoffs. You've got John Lester for the Cubs. You've got Antonio Senzatella for the Rockies. And as much as I like Senzatella, I think he's a great young pitcher in his 2nd year, John Lester has 148 innings pitched in his playoff career. Not just overall career, but playoffs. He has 148 innings pitched, and he has a 2.55 ERA in that time. So it's going to be tough for the Rockies. They're going up against a guy with a ton of postseason experience.
Yeah, you talk about how important pitching is, the pitching matchup. The Rockies actually, just before our show started, they announced that Kyle Freeland, the Colorado native, would be pitching for the Rockies.
There we go.
So
Freeland's
I'm happy to hear that. But
I like Freeland, so that's a big boost.
There we go.
I missed that one.
All right, Ram fans, that is all we have for you this week. Make sure you follow the CTV Sports Twitter page to stay updated on sports throughout the week. I'm Jessica Mendoza.
And I'm Bryan Buck. Thanks for tuning in, Ram fans. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.